welcome to ONV Respect the Game podcast. Welcome, everyone. It's great to be back on at the seat. Before we get started, I'm going to do a quick prayer, and then we're going to move right into our topic of the day. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you once again for allowing us to be on this stage to give our great information to our community. Dear Heavenly Father, let us all just enjoy this time together and do what's needed for great accomplishment. All these other blessings in your name. Amen.
Amen.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing?
Good, man. Good.
Great. We got a great topic today. It's dealing with NIL, PBA, and our guest will explain all of that to you and hope you could get some out of this. Welcome, Mr. Muhammad. How's everything, young cuz?
Everything's going good.
Good,
Blessed,
good.
can't complain. Just been super busy.
Great. Why don't you give a little insight about what you do?
Well, I'm an attorney. I've been licensed here in the state of Indiana since 2020. So I've been practicing for 6 years now. I'm also a certified NFL agent or contract advisor through the NFL Players Association. I am an agent through Divine Sports and Entertainment. Been with Divine Sports and Entertainment since December of 2025. So here in the next, few months, 5 or 6 months, we'll be approaching a year that I've been with Divine Sports and Entertainment, where I do represent quite a few college athletes in the NIL space. I'm on a few NFL contracts as well. And I'm also practicing family law here in Allen County.
That's what's happening. For sure. I can't even go behind that one. How's everybody else doing? Y'all want to introduce yourself real quick so we get going?
Doing well. This is Destiny Jackson. I'm back.
Ms. Jackson, you're going to have to speak up. we got to hear your opinion.
I got you.
Okay, well, I'm Omar. You know who I am. I'm originally from here, and I'm the CEO, founder of Better Than Yesterday Foundation, founded in 2018, and also a founder of Unhunted Firearms Training here in Fort Wayne.
Cool. So once again, you guys bring a lot of knowledge to the table, and we're going to jump right into our NIL conversation because we've been trying to talk like we knew what we was talking about, but we got our real deal, Mr. Muhammad here, going to really explain the details of the NIL and the PBA. You could explain the PBA as well.
All right. So everybody's pretty much familiar with the name, image, and likeness, or the NIL space, which addresses college athletes. Some states across the United States also use NIL as well with the high school athletes. But here in Indiana, it is called the personal brand activity or personal branding, which is similar to NIL, very similar to NIL. There are a few exceptions to the PBA compared to the NIL. I always thought Indiana would be like the last state to get NIL or PBA because, we're a conservative state. As far as athletics, they didn't really like athletes to get paid. They were big on the amateurism of sports. And also the NCAA is here in Indianapolis. So that kind of go hand in hand with the IHSAA. But Indiana proved me wrong. They were the 46th state to get PBA or some kind of NIL for the high school athletes where they could get paid off their name, image, and likeness or, their branding. So that is kind of what's going on right now in Indiana. So the personal branding is pretty much NIL in a sense, but the schools cannot be involved. That's the main crux of the PBA. So the schools can't be involved with backing or funding athletes when it comes to endorsement opportunities. The athletes cannot use the school's properties or facilities or show the school's properties or facilities when they're engaged in PBA or the personal branding activities. And also, just like NIL, very similar, there can't be any use of tobacco, drugs, alcohol, because one, they're minors, so that wouldn't even make any sense.
For sure.
And then they're also athletes, so similar to NIL, schools do not like athletes using those type of things when it comes to their endorsements, because you are pretty much influencing the youth, so they don't use that as well. So yeah, that's pretty much like the main crux, is that the schools can't use PBA to influence athletes to come to their school.
Oh, okay.
So let's talk about the student themselves. What's the pros and cons of them thinking that they're going to be making a lot of money? And some will and some will not.
Yes. So I guess the pros and cons. I will start with the pros for athletes with the PBA. It's good that they can make money. They have the opportunity to make money, because as you guys know, like I do, those athletes who are really engaged in their sports and looking to make it to the next level, they are like super focused on their training. They're super focused on just going to school and participating in their sport. When it comes to work or whatever it may be, they may not do that because they're so focused on getting to the collegiate level and playing at a higher level. So their focus is mainly on training and, the academics piece. So when it comes to work, they don't really have time for that. They're focused on that. So they do have the opportunity to make money. Now, the amount of money is the issue that we will be probably having issues with. And it's really just about managing expectations when it comes to parents and players on what they can and cannot make. We're not saying that we're going to, limit your desire or your belief in how much money you can make, because we never want to do that. Definitely as an agent, I never want to tell a player, or you can't make that, but I also want to be honest and real with them, when it comes to that. So a lot of local players, local brand deals is something that's going to be good for them. My partner and I, Javon Barnes, and a couple of us were speaking, and we were joking around, but in all seriousness, we was like, man, if a kid made $1,000, that's a win.
That's a win.
That is a true win when it comes to local branding and local opportunities. But I will say that, there is opportunities to make money. For one, you have to be unique in a sense. So even with the NIL space, you look at players. There are some players who are not star players at their schools who make more money than some of the star players because they have a following on social media. I think social media training is great to have when you're trying to brand and build your identity. I think having a presence, networking, is also great. When it comes to, opening yourself up to the ideas of making money when it comes to the PBA.
How does an athlete go about even seeking the opportunity to get a personal brand activity?
So I think the best way, and I have a couple players here who are doing it now, and they're in the high school realm too, just building and creating content. It could be things such as, showing individuals your day-to-day routine as an athlete. We have a young lady, I won't say her name, but the flag football is blowing up for the women, for the young ladies. Yeah. We have a young lady who does her day-to-day workouts and shows her routine, and she's kind of now building her brand. And now she's had a couple brands reach out to her about being a brand ambassador or whatever that may be. So that's opening up her marketability to other companies to say, hey, this young lady knows how to market herself. She's unique. She could bring business in. Yeah. And like I said, she's getting more looks than some of the top athletes. And don't get me wrong, she is a top athlete, but when you think about football, you think about the traditional sense. You don't think about flag, but now you got the young women blowing up, and she's
100%.
carrying herself with that branding opportunity by doing day-to-day stuff.
Right.
Another thing could be for players to do, training. Definitely if you got it may be easier for players locally who are like star players at their schools to hold like a training session or something, because the young kids are like, oh, I want to learn from
Top
Junior
dog.
or
Yeah.
whoever it may be, because Junior's the top player at this school.
Yeah.
He's an all-state player. He's probably an all-American. So now you have players who are like, come to my one-day camp and pay, $20, and I'll put your kids through workouts.
Yeah.
So how do we get our parents and our student athletes to learn something like that? Because we was talking off the set, off the air, that everybody think they're gonna get this NIL deal, but they don't know nothing. They don't know how to go about doing it.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that we could do as a community to build that space for them?
Yeah. And I think, some of the things that we can do, and, O and Destiny, we touched on this, prior to getting on set, is, education.
Yeah.
I think going into the schools and saying, these are ways you or your kid can build this kid's brand and have an opportunity. We at least want to give them a chance to have an opportunity at a PBA. Build them with education, talk about contract structure too, because I think that's a big piece. A lot of even parents see the numbers of what they could receive, and they don't really focus on the language, and the taxes, and
everything,
and things like that may hinder their athlete in the future when it comes to taxes and things like that. So I think just going into the schools, having an educational piece to address PBA, not only just going into the schools, but maybe even holding, meetings once a month or whenever the law changes.
Some
Things
seminars.
like seminars.
So you need a real support system
Yes.
behind these athletes that's trying to make it to the next level.
Yep.
Because if not, then we just throwing money at them for these 3 years that they're here, and none of them go to the next level.
Right.
Now they're searching for 400,000 or 500,000 on the college level, and now they're getting nothing. You're just here.
Well, I just have a fear about our kids getting ineligible.
Yes.
Because of lack of knowledge of what's going on as far as how to go about it. What we're just talking about.
So education system almost has to be mandatory. It has to be mandatory for you to get it.
But it's not.
It needs to be.
Yeah, and
it's just a process.
I think even I think the main thing, athletic directors, because these are their students, these are their players, they need to address PBA at the start of the school year.
Yes.
Because the colleges do it with NIL. They have their teams and their schools go in, they address NIL, they address taxes, they address ways you could be ineligible through NIL or through PBA. I think just having an education piece and really bringing the parents and making them involved in what's going on.
So the parents more like the partner, instead of just I'm your dad. I get this share, but then you got an agent that might want his 5-6%.
Right.
So you got to know how to educate your own money before you even sign a contract.
At the high school level, are they able to have some type of representation or agent, or how does that process work?
Yeah, now that they're getting paid, as an agent, I would say it's necessary to have one who can negotiate probably. And when I say negotiate, those are going to be for like really the high level players who are going to be looking at six figures. You might maybe even reach $1 million or $2 million. And those are like elite athletes or elite players who have a social media following. I think that is necessary. But when it comes to local players, having someone who knows contracts, and it don't even have to be an attorney. It could be an agent, someone who has um someone who has, I guess,
Knowledge.
knowledge
Just
of
knowledge,
contract structure. I think that would help. Because what you don't want to do is put the kid in a situation
Always being
where
taken advantage of.
they're being taken advantage of. They don't know how to get out of a contract.
Right.
And now they're stuck. And now when they go off to school and make money, those businesses from high school are now like, you owe us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, and one other thing about that, when they they mess up a contract,
Mm-hmm.
and then they try to go off to college, is that going to be a conflict of interest for them to continue on?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As far as like,
I don't think it would be.
I don't want to get too
I don't-
far away from.
Yeah, I don't think it will mess them up necessarily. But what I could and what I foresee is, once they start making that 6-figure money, or maybe even millions for some athletes,
Somebody
those
come
companies are going to come back and say, you owe us. Like, you didn't uphold your end of the contract. And so now you
That's
owe
small
us,
print.
and they're going to start coming after. Now you got the agent, now you got Uncle Sam, and now you got this other individual who you breached the contract with in the past, trying to come back and get their money.
Could that possibly like put them in a position where it's like, what if that contract, say this contract is given to a sophomore in high school, right?
Mhm.
And it says from now till your senior year of college,
Mhm.
this is that something that they're able to do, or is that just something that is just for high school? How does that work?
Now, that is still a contract, and so it will be. That's where the parents and the education comes in. Me as an agent, I would never tell a student sign a multi-year
right,
contract.
year by year.
Year by year is, and that's very similar. NIL's is year by
Year
year.
by
PBA, well, PBA is separate because the schools aren't involved with the NIL. The schools do year by year contracts.
Because you get
So-
more money as you produce more.
As
Yeah.
you produce more, you get
Even
more
when
money.
school
So
is
it,
out.
it won't make any sense
Yeah.
to do a
A
multi-year
Because you
contract.
lose out on,
Your
What's
earning
potential
potential.
to-
Yep.
and that's getting prepared for that next level too.
Yeah. And just like you said before, if they got a contract order where they got to go be at this car dealership to talk in this commercial and you don't show up,
Yep.
now you breaching that
Now you
contract.
breaching
Now
it.
we're gonna take 15,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
So these little things you got to be aware of, and the parents not even thinking that. They think, oh, we just got 100,000. Let's go buy this whip.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're confusing the kid because of the education.
Yeah.
So go get the education
Yeah.
first, or do your own research on how it works
Yeah.
before you become that top tier athlete. If you're gonna be serious about this game,
And I'm glad. Part of me is glad that PBA is. First of all, I don't care about people getting paid.
right?
Get your money.
Get paid.
Right.
For
Get
sure.
your money. But I'm glad PBA is here, because now these kids are learning business and how it works at the next level.
Yeah.
If you're going through it now, I think experience is the best teacher.
For sure.
So I think if they're going through it now and they see this is how you're supposed to abide by a contract, you are given money for a service that you are supposed to provide.
Yeah.
I think that helps them out at the next level, because we have guys, and we've been involved with guys who are at the next level already before PBA even came
Yeah.
about.
Yes, sir.
They didn't have that opportunity in high school. So now they're in college and they have to do certain things, and they're like, man, I don't want to do
Yeah.
this.
Right.
And I'm like, but
You gotta do
this $100,000 say you got to do this
Yeah.
in order to achieve this or receive
Right.
this. So now that's
definitely a
that's
setup.
a pro about
Yeah.
having PBA.
So I want to go back what you said earlier in the podcast about the athletic
Directors.
director.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get them involved to where they must be educating they athletes, student athletes, to just understand just the small part of, don't mess up your eligibility,
Mm-hmm.
and bring people like you into the schools to give them kind of seminars
Yeah.
to our athletes.
Yeah, and see, I don't know, and that's something I can't say I know for sure if the IHSAA implemented that, where the athletic directors have to educate the players and the parents on PBA. But I think that is up to the IHSAA or the school corporation or wherever it may be to implement that to where these athletic directors and or coaches have to educate or at least provide them with the basic information of how PBA works. And then however the school wants to do it as far as bringing in agents such as myself or an attorney or individuals who are involved in the PBA space or NIL space to come and educate the players on the pros and cons or the ins and outs of basic contract structure when it comes to PBA or NIL.
I mean, you are a part of this community. Why wouldn't they want you to come in and be the spokesperson for our especially our African American kids?
Yeah.
Man? To show where you are at to where it's like, man, I need to get that knowledge from him,
Right.
so I know what's going on. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes
especially
that makes
the verbiage. They can teach you that, especially that verbiage in them contracts.
Yeah.
That's really gonna be hurting. That's what's gonna hurt most of these student athletes is the contract.
Yes.
It's not them not having the likenesses in a sense, but it's the contract that's what's gonna hurt them in the long run.
Yeah.
Not following the rules.
I think too is one of those things where they just have to want to also learn it themselves. Like when it comes to eligibility in general, like just working in a high school and kind of being in that environment, if they don't want to know it themselves, they're not going to. Yeah. So it's something where it's like, yes, I know I have an opportunity to make money, but if the school's not pushing it, like, hey, we need you guys to learn this. We need y'all to learn this.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm going to be the advocate on this one. It's like we can afford to let our kids, our youth, our student athletes, not know this kind of information.
Right.
We just cannot sit back and be like, because he don't want to learn.
Yeah.
No, we got to make them learn how, and I don't know how we could do it.
And maybe they implement something like, you give them a PBA educational piece at the start of the season. All athletes have to pass this quiz.
See what I'm saying?
Something similar, something as simple as that to say, hey,
we need you in
you know what you're doing. You know you can and cannot do this. Thanks.
Right.
For receiving
and
this education.
That's kind of like at the college
Yep.
level, because at the college level they do the same thing where it's like we go over specific requirements of like the season, whether you have NIL, whether you have, and going over all these things, you know what you need to do to stay eligible, whether it be academically, whether it be whatever you do at NIL, whether it be social media, and that's something that we have to sit through. It's like 4 hours, and it's like tiring, and it's right after practice.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But it's like
It's
if you're
required.
and if you're involved in a space where you could potentially get money from this, you gonna listen.
So
this is
exactly. so once again, we got to get our coaches involved with this, because they're subject to lose out
On players.
big time.
Yeah.
And we all have to take the time, and it don't seem like we're talking about it enough,
Right.
For our young people to understand what they need to do with this, man. Because, once again, I just fear about they think they supposed to get this, and now they on a different level.
Yeah.
Especially our elite players that we got around the community, that there's certain things they ain't got to do no more.
Yeah.
And we got to teach them to stay focused. Because we always talk about the student athlete. Now it's about being a businessman.
Yes.
Yeah, being an entrepreneur, because your body of work is the business.
Yes, exactly.
So,
and then they got to realize this: when you do the research on it, it's only 1% of high school kids that get an NIL deal.
Yeah.
And they can start you out with $60 to $120. That's your NIL deal.
Yeah. And go ahead, Mom.
Go ahead. But other than that, it's like you're really not getting no big bread, nothing to live on.
All right.
Like if you're getting $200 a month just for an NIL deal, you're gonna want to keep your mouth closed a little bit until you're getting the money that you want, or your family can be supported by it. But other than that, You got to be humble, and you got to put the work in.
Well, I like what you just said there. You got to be humble and put the work in,
Yeah.
and quit thinking. Because I mean, if you be around our young people now, they talking about getting this big deal.
Yeah.
I'm finna get this big deal, and no.
I feel like since it's so like broadcasted when it comes to like just social media, they think it's easier than what it is. Like I know for like
For sure.
I don't know if PBA works this way, and that was gonna be my next question to you. But I know with NIL, like I was in college, I sat the bench, but I had NIL, and my NIL was through service. So like when I say service, like I was sponsored by a smoothie company on campus.
Right.
They gave me free smoothies.
Right.
Like that was we had a Raising Cane's right across the street. One girl, every time she go in there, she get a free chicken tender meal.
Yeah.
So like, is PBA is that similar? Can they be given things for free? Maybe?
Yes, and that is what could occur with PBA, like with the local restaurants or whatnot. You can receive, free meals, very similar to what you receive, smoothies or whatnot. And then if I'm an athlete and I'm getting free smoothies, I'm taking it because that's gonna save. First of all, that's saving me some money anyway.
Right.
But that goes back to also, as an athlete, sometimes you have to be humble about what you're receiving too, because some athletes think, like you said, they think they're gonna get this big $200,000 deal. You have to think about it. As O said, you like 1% is only receiving that. Not to mention, you are going against
8 million.
8 million. You going against athletes. You going against entertainers, social media influencers, music artists. All these individuals are also looking for brand deals. And so what is unique about you that's going to bring business to me is what business owners are looking at. And so educating them that and managing those expectations early, I think, is very crucial when it comes to PBA or NIL.
So out there in the audience, what do you think? Is there some questions that you want to ask? Is there something that you want to get knowledge of as far as the NIL and the PBA deals, that you thought you knew, but you really don't, and that you need to get more information? So give us some feedback on what you think about the conversation we having today. You guys.
I got one more question for him. Do you think Fort Wayne's ready for that? Do you think we as a community, and I know we talking about the education part of it, but are we ready for the PBA or NIL?
So I can't truly answer that question because I've only spoken to a handful of athletes and a handful of parents. I will say the parents that I spoke with, for instance, I spoke with 3 individuals, 3 players at Fort Wayne North, and when I say they were very reasonable as to the PBA and just endorsement conversation that we had. First of all, what I tell athletes is keep the main thing, focus on your craft,
right?
And just producing on the field or on the court,
For sure.
whatever it may be, just produce. Because first of all, if you're not producing anyway,
not there.
The company's gonna be like, who are you?
Right.
Right. But they were very reasonable. Parents had a lot of questions, great questions about PBA or NIL and what that may look like. And then when I gave them like the realities of what it may look like, they was like, well, we totally understand, such and such. You just gonna have to keep working. You just gotta keep the main thing. So I think some parents are ready. Now there are some may not be as ready as others. And I think, pushing their children to be good to get NIL deals is, I'm not a parent, so I can't say what's the right approach, what's the best approach, but if it was me, I would push my kid to, hey, just focus on your craft. Try to be good at what you do. Try to be great at what you do. And then someone's going to notice it. But not only that, carry yourself as a business. How you carry yourself out in the community, because business owners see that as well. If you are getting interviewed on the news or whatnot, how do you speak? How do you address
Yeah, PR got to be
the
right.
PR? Like, how do you speak to, reporters or the community? I
Yes.
think that's very big. I will say one individual who NFL player who I like very well is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, when you sit and watch him speak, I mean, he's so well mannered, and not just what he does in interviews, but also how he is, off the field, how he carries himself. His brand is everything. So he has a lot of endorsement opportunities. So I think for our kids, I would say if you really want those deals, watch how certain individuals
Yes.
carry themselves
You got to
and
know
how
how to
they're getting
brand
those
yourself for
deals.
sure.
Yeah.
That's just like us when we were growing up. We was watching our favorite player play. Now watch how they carry themselves business wise,
Yeah.
and then you'll be able to emulate what they do and kind of tweak it into your own way.
Yeah.
Now you got brands coming at
Because
you,
it's really bigger than basketball or bigger than the sport.
bigger than the
Yeah.
sport.
And I know we do. We make sure we let our young people know as far as how to carry themselves and the importance of being respectful wherever you are.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times our young people forget that and they think they're bigger than the game,
Yeah.
and then it's all about them. Before we get off the air,
But the game will humble you.
yeah.
It will humble you real quick.
Man.
So the negativity is, like I know we talking about everything, and we probably gonna have to bring you back and get some more knowledge from you. But I just, I want to the negativity. How do we continue to change the negativity of our thinking?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I think it just falls back to the education piece, and I think it is going to involve. It's going to need to involve, the athletes from our community who's been at the higher levels.
For sure.
I think they do need to come back and instill their wisdom, what they've been through, to help the younger kids, the younger athletes, because they've all been through it. They never had PBA, but they all had endorsements, so they know what it takes. And they've been through spurts where they had to deal with negativity or they had to deal with outside influences and get through certain things. Because it's one thing to hear it from us, because they hear us all the time.
Right.
But it's another thing to hear from like a Tay Johnson or a Rod Woodson or Jalen
Somebody that's
Smith
been
or
there
Jesse
already.
Bates.
Yeah.
Guys who have been there before. So it's one thing to hear from them. So I think just getting them around, and then also just making sure we follow up with some of our athletes, because I think what we do a good job of as a group, and I'm not talking about just individuals, we do a great job of seeing how someone is doing or how our athletes are doing, how they're holding up, but we don't do a really good job of following through.
Yeah, because you don't know the relationship outside of the school.
Yeah, exactly. So I think building that rapport, following through, and then just connecting them with the right people, because everybody in this room has connections to somebody that been through where they're trying to get to. And I think just educating them kind of helps us, because once they see we care, I think that's where the big piece is. And my job as an agent, a lot of people think, oh, he's just out to get money. He's to get the player the money. And like I tell some of the guys I represent, and I'm blessed to have transformational relationship with these guys, because I tell them at the end of the day, my job is to get you money, but at the end of the day, you could come to me about anything and we're going to find a way to make it work, because I will want my guys to be successful on and off the field. And so I think the transformational relationships help once they see you care, and you build a team around them. I think that's where you start seeing changes.
Yeah. especially when it comes to getting that type of money, because now you got pressure just because you making money. Now you got that depression of so many people asking you for it, and really now you ain't looking at them state taxes. You might get 200,000, but now you got a deal in Indiana where the state tax is this, and now you only brought home 40 grand.
Yeah.
But you done spent 70.
Yep.
But now you in that hole.
Yeah.
Because your parents need this
Yep.
right now.
Yeah.
So you spend it now when they give you the credit, but you didn't have it.
Is it just high school or is it middle school and all that other stuff?
As far as the PBA,
Yeah.
right now it look like it's just high school, but it's definitely going to trickle down.
Yeah.
I don't see.
to go up.
Yeah, I don't see how they could stick it to just or say it's just high school, and not have the middle school kids say, "Hey, we can monetize."
Yeah.
I'm sure there's kids making money off of Instagram and
Yeah, I was gonna
YouTube
say,
or whatever it may be.
I know
They ain't taught me yet.
this elementary kid. You know,
Maybe.
he get followers.
Matter of fact, I have a family member who y'all may even know. They make money off of YouTube, but they do all positives. It's like
Yeah.
a family thing. They do.
And that's what's happening.
The
But-
content is real.
Yeah.
If you're pushing it, but you got to push it a lot.
It's a job in
It's a
itself.
job.
It is.
You got to be on. You got to post 5 a day or something like that just to
Yeah.
keep the people active.
Social media influencers are the new
Yeah, that's fine.
athletes.
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, no, that's huge. You know that they know to go and do that.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that we get all of our questions out to Mr. Muhammad before he lead a set. You guys got anything?
No, that
to
was the
say?
one I have for him. Are we ready for it?
That's all I got for you.
Well,
Appreciate it.
how can somebody get in contact with you without giving all your information out?
A lot of individuals reach out to me through social media, which is Coach COACH _ESQ. That's my social media through Instagram. Also, people find me on Facebook. I do still use Facebook every now and then. But then also I'm through Divine Sports and Entertainment. You could go to the website at Divine Sports. I usually provide my email through that as well. If you want me to get my email, I can.
That's on you. I'm giving you your respect. I don't know. How
Usually just find me on social media. Okay. Then if anybody wanted to have a conversation, we could connect that way.
And we also could get in contact with them, if you get in contact with me or ONV, Respect the Game, we'll definitely get back, get to him. I'd like to thank you, man, for coming into the podcast and giving us this knowledge. And it means so much to me, family, that you coming in and giving your time to the community and making sure you are aware of what's going on as far as like this NIL PBA, because it's serious.
Yeah.
And we need to take it more seriously and not think it's just something that you don't just automatically get, because it doesn't work like that.
Definitely not.
Before we leave, I just want to say, always protect your mind. Welcome to Respect the Game
Podcast. Let's go get it.
Let's go.